Good afternoon. Welcome to the Friday, March 15th, 2024 public meeting of the Kingston City Land Bank's Acquisition, Disposition, and Construction Committee. My name is Mike. I serve as the Executive Director. We do ask that members of the public limit their comments to no more than 2 minutes per speaker. And with that, I turn it over to Mr. Aaron Chilwich, the committee chair. Barbara's joined.
Oh, hello, Barb. Mike just did his preamble, and so we're jumping in now.
Sorry, Mike.
So I guess first up, Kyle and Owen sent around their updates, which I think were pretty minimal this time around, which makes sense because this project is nearing the end. Is there anything either of you wants to highlight on what you circulated?
I can do a bullet point version, which is, Franklin is done preparing for being sold, but then we, based on the radon test post-construction, have gone back in and put it in a radon system. So it's being retested right now. So yeah, we got to put in an outlet for that, but otherwise, that's about to be done again, and hopefully sold soon. And yes,
I'm curious, was that a condition of the buyer, or was that something you discovered in the process of selling the house?
Well, I would say both. I mean, I think that I think in this case, one of the funding sources required for there to be a radon test done, which is probably a good idea anyway, but a funding source required it, I believe. And then that test failed a little bit over what the action limit is. And so then everybody is like, well, you got to take care of it. So somebody was going to take care of it during this transaction. I think that's when a lot of these radon systems go in, is when the house is selling and somebody asks for it to go in. So on other projects like Rogers, it was something that got maybe because of where it's located or something, or I'm not really sure. I don't remember why, but for some reason we flagged it. We did a radon test during construction. So while the buyer did a radon test at the end, we had already done one, so we didn't assume that was going to pass. So that's Franklin. Legacy Cities, we just did the final walkthrough yesterday, and so we will shortly have the final pay application from the GC in hand. We are recleaning and retesting Roger Street for lead testing and lead clearance, and are kind of gonna be waiting to close out the final payment with GC until that's taken care of, but everybody's trying to rush to get that done. And otherwise, punch list is basically done at those two houses. There's like a couple of things that they're doing that I don't even, they're written down, but they're just tiny little things they're doing on their way out. So that's it. And I guess, can I say something about the upcoming projects, Aaron?
Of course.
Just that we're in the middle of our GC RFP right now, our request for proposals for the general contractor for our next batch of 6 houses. So we have 2 different requests for proposals open right now. So that'll be something that we're going to be talking with this committee next month, and looking to get for this committee to take recommendations to the board and stuff. But we had I think we got 9 GCs that have walked through so far, and a 10th that I think I'm going to bring through on Monday. So we're getting good response for people looking at it, including I think some solid companies. So I think we'll be there. We would expect a very steep drop off from, who reads the email to who actually shows up to who submits a proposal, because it takes a lot of more than some other things we put out for proposals. This takes a lot of work to just come up with the pricing for it. So, but 10 is the right number to start off with to get 2 or 3 good proposals. So
That's great.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Sure.
And Kyle, on the financing side, I saw Rec 19 went through. Was there anything else to note, or is it pretty?
That's Rec 17, but yeah, nothing
17?
really.
Sorry.
Hopefully we won't get to a Rec 19. Yeah, no real update. The summary at Sunrun last month was pending the next requisition, and we completed it, so we haven't done the next one. So the summary is basically the same with a few tweaks based on what was ultimately requisitioned. Yeah, so I wanted to do the last walkthrough. Hopefully we'll be submitting the last requisition in the
Nice.
coming weeks, and I won't be reporting back to you anymore.
we'll just sit there silently during these.
Very
on
easy
this.
meetings.
We'll have to find some other things for you to talk about, Kyle. I don't think that'll be a problem.
Have plenty to talk about.
That's great. And then sorry, any questions from anybody on those, the finance to construction?
No.
Storm circulator? No. Okay. And then the closing timelines for these houses, pushed back a little, it seems, but still, sometime in April.
Touch my nose first.
Okay.
I think what we're shooting for, that we kind of socialized at the last comms
Yeah.
meeting, was an April 12th ribbon cutting event.
Okay.
And so it could be the 24th. It could be a totally different date. Apologies that it's still a little squishy right now, but the goal would be to have the closing for Rogers, where we would hold the event, all squared away by that
Yeah.
date. And so we would know for sure that Rogers is closing after the date of the event.
It'll be a good contrast from the ribbon cutting at Rogers, right? Now I have like
Totally.
the whole entrance to the house is on a different side of the house now.
What a difference.
And
Go ahead, sorry, Joanna.
no, I wanted, while Owen's on the call, like I was walking by Rogers on a walk in the neighborhood, and someone who lived across the street pulled up, seeing me looking. She was like, "If you look around the back, you can see in better." And she was just like, "Oh my gosh, they did such an amazing job. I had no idea like it would be this beautiful. Like I watched the whole process. Like they didn't cut any corners." So like just some feedback from a neighbor and then across the street that she was like so impressed with the work.
Nice, good.
That's great.
That's great. That makes me glad, makes me happy. I do want to figure out. I need to get the before all of our. This is somewhat of a. I'm not on comms anymore, but it's somewhat of a comms ADC mashup. Is that all of our pre-photos still live on Daniel's phone from these homes, I think. And I want to go in. I'm gonna be out of town for a bit, but I want to go into the homes and take post-construction photos so that we can have them for our records and then also do social media and like outreach around that. So if anybody feels like they're a great photographer, if not, I'm happy to go do it next week. So Owen, I'll probably be in touch with you about getting into the home to do that.
Great. I'm putting
Like-
my phone number in the chat here in case you don't have it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'll write that down. And I will today be starting the process of wrangling Daniel, which will surely take a few weeks in itself.
Good luck.
Thank you. If anyone sees him around town, just start telling him that I'm trying to get in touch with him.
Better off just showing up at his door.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do that over the weekend. I'll be there. Okay, great. Legacy Cities 2 pre-development. We have 4 different RFPs out right now for asbestos, air monitoring, right? And then 2 GCs. And what else on the pre-development side of things? This is, I guess, Mike and Kyle. Anything else to note today?
I think the context for it is that we're waiting for the bids to come back before we can spring into action and get ready to apply to the program, to the state of New York, and that begins what we are told is a 4-month process to get to closing. So maybe in
Okay.
a month, we'll have a better update.
Has anybody closed on the second round yet, or still? Is this still an untapped, fully untapped program?
I believe there are 2 other land banks that have closed, and I get phone calls from land banks periodically who are trying to close, but it's been quite a process for them. So I believe I know that there are at least 2 other groups that have closed. There might be more.
Nice.
Yeah. Definitely
Alright.
be the first one to close a second Legacy Cities project.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And to finish a Legacy Cities project on time, on budget, like it's amazing.
Very cool. Okay, and then Third Avenue. I'm not sure if there's anything for. I mean, I think probably we're still just waiting for kind of next steps. I don't know if there's anything Mike and Kyle and Owen to talk through today. No.
I would say that we're still in the process of updating our analysis based on
Okay.
feedback from the city
Okay.
and be able to circulate that once the engineering studies and things have really gotten their work done.
Great.
Thanks.
I mean, I guess since our last meeting, we did acquire also, what, 5 new sites now, and there's 6
Oh,
new
yeah.
sites. Sold one
No
of
big
them. I
deal.
forgot. For some reason, I forgot that we hadn't talked since then. So, um, so that's great. Some new opportunities there.
Is it 6 in the next round, or are there other houses too that we're waiting on possibly being part of this next round? Just 6?
We're ready to go. Yeah, we're ready to go with 6.
Okay, wow.
The 2 that we just acquired, we
Right.
already have been assuming that we would get, and so we made the call quite a long time ago now to just plow forward and assume that was going to happen, with knowing that possibility it could fall through, and then we would just have spent some money on architectural sets and not known when we could get the houses, but it kind of worked out just in the nick of time to that we were able to buy them, and we just like already had a 25-page set for them, and had already cleaned them out and had already done asbestos
So cool.
testing and stuff. So
So cool. Well, we're going in front of Nate is going to present the annual report as the board chair does every year to the council later this month. And I can't wait for him to highlight that fact that we purchased homes on the 27th of February and they're already bid out now. I mean, look how fast. It
right.
may not happen like that again, but hopefully it doesn't get that thing. That's great.
All right. Anything, Mike, on the pipeline discussions for today?
No updates. No updates. I did speak with the city this morning just to check in, and no updates on their end for next steps, if anything,
Okay.
for our future pipeline.
They're still just like considering the other foreclosure options, and okay.
Right.
All right. And then lastly, new business. Anybody have things that were not previously that they want to talk through today? I really thought there was going to be more for us to discuss today, but this is flying. Go ahead, Joanna, what were you going to say?
Oh, no. I guess this isn't about ADC, but the governance committee just met, and like we really want to make a push for board members, like kind of an earnest effort in the next month or 2. And so like really we recognize it's going to probably come from like our own word of mouth. So just putting that out there. If there are any people you can identify that you feel like would be good, we really need Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
And diversity would be nice of any kind. So I think it's good to just put that out to this committee too, all of us.
We haven't passed, or we have passed. I was confused. We have passed the amendment to the bylaws.
No,
Not
but
yet.
but
Not
it's
yet.
looking like that is going to pass. So I mean, yeah, if you don't know local people and there are people further afield, definitely send
Yeah.
them our way.
Yeah, I think we should assume that some version of it, if not the exact thing, will pass, and so we can start spreading word a little farther. Which is
Yeah.
great.
And for comms, I don't know who is responsible for posting the board. We're looking for board members on the Instagram. But like, yeah, if we could do that, then and just put it as like a story, like a saved story on the site, on the Instagram.
I can do that. That was the conversation this morning, which is that I my my control my access to the Instagram was basically because we were trying to like a long time ago it was really just Daniel, and then it was maybe Daniel and Bartek a little bit, and I'm gonna make sure others have access to it, so it's not just me, because I don't think I think it's smarter for other people to be able to post. But I will do that particular post. I'll make sure that that's ready to go.
Thank you. Just put it as a saved story and then it can just be accessed all the
That's a good
time.
idea. I'll
Thank
I'll find a graphic to use for it.
Awesome.
And thank you, Aaron, for doing that. All those posts are awesome and there's a lot of engagement around them. I know a lot of work goes into it. I've tried to do Instagram posts before with Daniel in the past and do a poor job. So they're awesome.
All right, so they have a story about new board member recruitment. Okay,
Yeah, with a link.
yeah,
Thank you.
of course. I'll work on that over the weekend. Yeah, sorry everybody for jumping the gun on Third Avenue. It was not my intention to announce something before everybody had agreed to it. I think I misunderstood where we were at, and
All good. That's all good. It's true.
luckily, we have 16 comments, and so far all, at least on Instagram, and so far all positive. But social media is a funny world. All right, anything else today from anybody before we call in a quick meeting? Thank you all. Pleasure to see your faces.
You too. Thank you.
Good
Have a
weekend.
good day.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, everyone.